So this is going to be part one of my video about my complete Z77 build. So I don't have a name for it yet, but basically it's an all-new Z77 build that I've been working on for a while, and I'm calling it finished now, but really I do have a couple upgrades planned, or changes rather, not really upgrades. But I have a few changes planned for the near future, but it's products that aren't released yet. So I'm gonna call it finished now. I'm gonna make a video of it being finished, and then you know, as always, there's always things that come up down the road where things get changed. So I will cover that in the future. So first, I'll just cover the hardware really quick. This is something that is not in there anymore, but it was there. It was the Lamptron FC6 fan controller, but I liked it alright, but ultimately I decided not to go with that. And then just hook up the fans directly and have a completely clean front of the case with nothing in there. So this is the memory. This is Patriot Intel Extreme Masters. 16 gigabyte, 2133, operating system Windows 8. The fans, Noctua NF P12s. My favorite fans. Processor 3770K. Graphics card is the MSI R7950 Twin Foser. CPU cooler for now is the Noctua NHD14, but that might be getting changed in the future. Motherboard is MSI Z77M Power. And power supply, the Corsair AX850. So that is a quick overview of the hardware specifications. Now I'm going to cut here, and then I'll make a part two of this, sort of covering the modifications and things I did, and I'll cut it in. Okay, so this is part two, and what I'm going to do is show you around the case, talk a little bit about the case, show you inside the case, and then around the back, show you the cable management. And then I will have, at the end of the video, I'll make a separate part with the lights off where I'll show the lighting. So this is the Corsair 650D, and I like this case because of the minimal design. The front face is very minimal and elegant. It doesn't have a lot of design like some of them do. It doesn't have a lot of plastic exposed at the front like a lot of them do. It does have a plastic front, but that's covered in aluminum, so what you see at the front is aluminum, and then the rest of the case is steel. You can get this for $149 now, and I'd say it's a very, very good deal for that price. The majority of the case is very good quality, and it has lots of good standard features, good airflow, dust filter, good cable management, good amount of space on the inside, good amount of space behind the motherboard tray, all that sort of stuff. It's got a little built-in fan controller that can do 4 channels. It's got, USB 3 stuff at the front, but the USB 3s are a pass-through and not a header, so that's a thing you'll have to get an adapter. The power button actually has a power logo that's lit up white, which I think is nice. I don't have any. I had a fan controller in there originally, but I decided to take it out and just go with the completely clean front with nothing. Now, some of the things I've done with it. Well, the first thing was with the power button. the power button that comes with it, it's very, at least on the one I got, it was very stiff, and it wasn't making good contact with the button behind it, and it was rubbing, like the button part was rubbing against the side, so it was stiff to push, so, and it wasn't making a clicking noise. So I was able to take it out, adjust the hole that it was sitting in. This button here is screwed with a little hole up here, and I was able to adjust that and slide it down a little bit so that it makes good contact with the button behind on the frame now, and it makes a click and it's not stiff. So I was able to fix that. And then the second and more important thing that I did was, originally there's a 200mm fan at the front, and there is a all mesh like this stuff. And the 200mm fan that comes with it is very noisy if you don't run it at anything but low. Anything above low is very noisy. And then on top of that, this mesh creates a turbulence noise. So those two things do create quite a bit of noise, and it was more than I'd like. I also don't really like any of the 200mm fans right now. I like Noctua fans. I like the Noctua fans the best. NFP12s are one of my favorites, as well as the F12s. So what I did was I just did with a Dremel, just cut out a bit of mesh here and a bit of mesh there, and then just drilled a couple holes here and here, and just mounted a couple of NFP12s there. So now I will show the interior. Another small thing that I don't like completely about this is the side window. The side window, you can see there's clips here which are easy to put the door on and off, and that's great. Door is very easy to go on and off, but one of the downsides of having the clips here is the window had to be cut quite a bit short, so it can't go right to the top. And I found that I like to see quite a bit of this stuff around the top. Not so much with this cooler, but if you have a cooler that's lower profile, you want to see that stuff. Not necessarily as much in the bottom. So I'd like the door to be quite a bit taller. Like on the 900D, it has a much taller door. So airflow wise, I've got the two Noctua's intake at the front, then I have the one at the back and one at the top back. You can see all the hardware. I mentioned it all earlier. I did forget one thing, which was the solid state drive, and that is a Samsung 840 250 gigabyte. And that's the boot drive and the main drive. And then I have I've got a few mechanical drives in there as well for storage. I've got all the fans just wired up to the motherboard, and I've got the D14 in there, and so that's all sort of just like that. And then I'll turn it around and show you the cable management at the back. Usually when I do a build, I'll do sort of a quick job with the cables at first, but then I always like to go back after and clean the cables up. So here's what I've got right now, and maybe I'll throw the side door back on so that blocks the light a little bit. So that you can see there's the cable management. So that's about it for this part of the video. Case, I had a point where I did it was sort of like, oh, there's this wrong, blah blah blah, but really I'm liking the case more and more now. I like the look of it a lot. Now that I've done those few things to sort of fix the things I didn't like about it, I'm liking the case more and more now. And So yeah, so there's also the back, not too exciting, fairly standard looking back. And okay, so at the end here I'm going to make another section, and then I'll show the lighting. The lighting is a white NZXT sleeves kit. Okay, so this is part 3, and I'm just going to show the lighting. So it's an NZXT sleeved LED kit, white, and then this is what it looks like. I just went all around the edges of the case, fairly standard. This is what it looks like with the door on, and then there's with the door on. So it's fairly good. It lights everywhere evenly, and the white is nice and neutral. You can still see the color that all the hardware is, and I think that the white's very clean and very nice. And the lighting's nice. I think it could be a little bit less bright. This is on low, and then it also has medium and high. I never go anywhere but low. And if the low was a bit lower even, that would be fine, but it's fine like this too. The lighting is more of a... I don't have it on all the time, I only put it on once in a while really. I usually just have the thing completely dark, but I like to have a little bit of lighting in there to show the hardware if I want to. So I'm pleased with the NZXT kit. I think it's very good. It's nice to be able to go all around and do evenly without having a bunch of different strips. With the strips, they tend to be shorter, and you have to have one strip at the top, one at the bottom, and then one at each side even. So it takes more, multiple strips to get it even. And I like having it like this, where you can just get it even with the one LED light.